Okay, traders, here we go. VTP Stage 2 online, technical Tuesday coaching call 187 for the 31st of March 2026. I hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying a good week. Hope you are keeping a close eye on markets because, as always, there's plenty going on. As always, you're very welcome here. Just remember, you are responsible for your own trading decisions. And for those of you who have done stage 2 and want to go on to stage 3, the last day of the special offer is today. Okay, it reverts to normal price tomorrow. So you can ping me, or you can see that QR code or the Bitly if you're intrigued. Okay, so let's do the charts. Yeah, as I said, dollar's tight. Okay, Canadian dollar has come off a little bit. Okay, bang. Euro has that 4-hour chart is kind of strong on there, and that's what we can see on that. Literally dollar strong. Look at that. Kiwi dollar weak. Okay, that's what you're looking at. And then when you're looking at the actual STAM itself, S1S, it's been S1S for 16 days. All right, okay, for a good few weeks. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And, well, in fact, if you haven't already looked at the chart, that's where we want to be. Bring that up as always. Let's start with the dollar index as always. Here we are. We're above 100, but this is Tuesday. It's a weekly candle. It's Tuesday. It could be indecision, but it's Tuesday. All right. There's a lot to go. The reality is we closed above 100 there. Okay, last week. If we go down to the daily chart, this is what I was talking about. I talked about it yesterday in terms of the PO20. 20 there on the daily is resistance. Then it flips to support, and here it flips to support. I was looking at as maybe, thinking if it breaks that 20, it comes down. There's a little tactical play down there to the 250, but you can see it didn't. And invariably, actually, what happened is we got engulfed there, and then off we went up 100. Now we've come down a bit today, but as I said, a lot of that I think is a bit of a relief rally. After kind of comments came out that he's prepared to walk away from the war and leave the Straits of Hormuz to the others to pick up. Hence why this is the 4-hour dollar index, which for the last couple of days of last week was beautiful. This is what we want back into these sort of trends. But actually, you can see it's kind of rolled its way over there a bit. 30-minute chart. Okay, yeah. So we had this, around about sort of half one-ish. We just had this real big move here. Bang. It's pulled up in here, but then it's dropped again. And I wonder whether is this the start of the peace trade? Is this the start of the peace trade? Keep your eyes on it. Okay, certainly what we had seen. Okay, if these are the 4-hour charts, boom, boom, boom. What we've been looking at is that dollar strength. All right, dollar strength, dollar strength, dollar strength, dollar strength. Messy. Okay, this week is actually you're seeing yen strength, but we're going to look at that in a bit of a moment. So let's have a look at this Kiwi. All right. So if I look at that, Kiwi dollar is S1S, and that's what's happening. And I admit, if you look at it, it's been in difficult blocks. I'd say it's been in painful blocks. Okay, but certainly if you look at that on the weekly chart. We ran up to the 200 period moving average, which was also into the region of last year's highs. We just couldn't get above it. And we got that really nice, let's zoom in here. We got that double top there with the second leg being, a pin bar before we kind of dropped our way down there. Okay. And that kind of, we've seen that weakness has accelerated. We go down to the daily chart. Yeah, that's where we saw that double top there on the daily chart, which was at the weekly 200, and then you can see we've just worked our way down, and then on the 4-hour chart, yeah, it's interestingly, this is what's interesting we can learn from here is that the 50 is normally very, very good. It kind of pierces the 50 but comes beneath it. See how it pierces it but comes back beneath it, pierces it but comes back beneath it. That was that really nice double top bearish engulfing key reversal, but it's on a Friday, woof. But then we've come down there. Okay, so that is dollar strength, Kiwi dollar weakness. Sometimes it's beautifully to see that I'll admit is a bit scrappy. Okay, but hopefully you can start to see how that kind of works out what we're looking for. That weakness is pretty much across the board. The one I said I am intrigued by is dollar against Canadian dollar. That has just because you'd expect Canadian dollar strengthened off the oil story, but clearly that's just showing you that even though it has, dollar is still the daddy there, isn't it? And this is why I start with the dollar in FX markets. If you can understand what's going on with the dollar, it is a great reference point for trading anything else in the FX markets. Okay, understanding that it is dollar against yen. Well, let's go elsewhere and have a little look at that.